Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And guys, I come back with that video just to make you think. And we have Brian Armstrong that I want you to listen to. Of course, they have announced the IPO. Also, basically, I have Travis Kling, a fund manager, that I also want you to hear. I'll be back.
To zero. They've removed the reserve requirements on banks down to 0%, which I don't think has ever happened in U.S. history. There's bipartisan, interest in sending $1,000 payments to every single American, and there's bailouts being proposed and quantitative easing, and basically a massive expansion of the money supply is being proposed all around the world. At the same time, just about every sector of the economy is really struggling. So manufacturing, people don't want to go into factories if they can't social distance, and retail has been decimated. Travel is really struggling. We might even see some of these investment banks needing to be bailed out. So in some ways, it's incredibly lucky that we as a tech company are able to continue to work at all, because almost every sector of the economy has been really struggling. So what does this actually mean in practice? Well, when you put a bunch more money into the ecosystem and the number of goods is not really going up due to manufacturing slowdowns, that means over time there's going to be higher prices, and there's basically going to be inflation. And when that happens, people try to look for alternative investments that are inflation proof, that basically have guaranteed scarcity baked into them. So that is a great case for Bitcoin, and it's also, there's other asset classes like real estate and things like that that are hedges against inflation that we're going to see people move into. At the same time, money is going digital, so it's never been particularly hygienic to work with fiat currencies. Who wants to be passing around paper bills and coins, especially now that there's this global pandemic happening. So I don't know about you, but all the payments I've been doing as I've been ordering things online and getting food delivery, it's moved 100% to digital. And I think tech is going to be a big winner from this, right? So yes, we are one of the only sectors of the economy that can actually keep making some forward progress, because
being retail and kind of how that, I guess, minimizes the downside risk, at least conceptually.
Yeah, so just to juxtapose where we are today in December 2020 with the backdrop relative to 3 years ago, friendly reminder that the Fed was trying to end the largest monetary experiment in human history 3 years ago by starting to raise interest rates and roll off their balance sheet. All of that has been thrown out the window now. They have no plan to end the largest monetary experiment in human history. And in fact, they're just going to keep going and sort of see what happens. And Bitcoin, as a non-sovereign, hard cap supply, global, immutable, decentralized digital store of value, is an insurance policy against monetary and fiscal policy irresponsibility from central banks and governments globally. And that's the exact thesis that these institutional buyers are getting behind to make their purchases and to get into their positions. Yeah. And it's the same drum that we've all been banging for a few years. So there's a lot of influence.
That's the interesting thing.
We have Coinbase announcing that they're on the path to an IPO. And guys, I always talk about my guy Andreessen. He's my guy. Please go check out the videos I've done on him. And guys, I always teach you to always follow the money. Now, Brian Armstrong in that video went over some truth. The Fed money printing, the inflation that's coming, how the C word has pushed forward tech, has moved it 5 to 10 years ahead. But guys, this all was done on purpose by the Fed. So the Fed is controlling both sides, guys. This is being orchestrated to move us over to what? The fourth industrial revolution. We understand that, but the masses don't. We know the Fed is pumping Bitcoin. And guys, we constantly hear the slogan, Bitcoin is the digital gold. Now, basically, we have Travis Kling said something very important. He said the Fed tried to end its balance sheet, which is correct. They tried to end it. They raised rates a little bit. And then, of course, they ran in with this C word, dropped us down to zero interest, and stopped rolling off the balance sheet. But actually, they added 3 to 4 trillion onto the balance sheet. So basically, they're keeping this expansion going. And I went over that in my Jerome Powell video. Now, guys, we have Coinbase talking about going public. We have Brian Brooks, who used to work for Coinbase. We have Steve Mnuchin and Brian Brooks used to work together at One West. Steve Mnuchin, Brian Brooks, and Brian Armstrong said that they were going to be some type of regulation before Trump's administration ends. Now, if Coinbase, of course, goes public, they have to provide some type of custody. Of course, they don't if we do the self-custody wallets. Now, it's very important because, guys, we know what they want to do. They want to bring in Global ID 2020, the biometrics. Remember, guys, we're moving to the fourth industrial revolution. Like Brian Armstrong stated, they don't want any cash, guys. They don't want anything physical. They don't want any gold. They want everything in cyberspace, everything synthetic, which is not real. So what happens, guys, they keep this Ponzi scheme going on forever, where it's nothing but an algorithm running this whole thing. You have to remember that the central banks control both sides. I don't care what the situation is, Democrat, Republican, any wars, race, sex, whatever, guys, they control both sides. As long as you're fighting each other, the divide and conquer will always rule. Remember, guys, everything that the New World Order does is already planned out. And guys, don't forget to check out my video I did July 9th on the secret to why Coinbase is going public. So make sure you check that video out. I'll make sure I put it in the link in the description.
Even the poorest people in the world have access to the internet and smartphones, and they can now have a bank in their pocket. That's really the opportunity. That's the secret that Coinbase is founded on, the belief that right now, at this moment in history, because cryptocurrency got invented and everybody in the world can have access to a smartphone, we can inject economic freedom really into all these countries around the world. So if you want to create a new economy, an alternative economy that is more fair, it's more free, it's more efficient, it's open to everybody, the first thing you need to do is just help millions and millions of people in the world get access to cryptocurrency and just store it securely. And then we need to start to be able to enable people to use it and also to earn it, because not everybody has disposable income to actually invest in cryptocurrency. They might need to earn it by doing a job or completing a task. And lastly, we need 1,000 companies to get built that start to accept cryptocurrency and use it for a true economy to be built, because an economy is made up of thousands and millions of participants, not just one company like Coinbase. And so this ties into the 3 pillars of our strategy, which we call enable crypto investing, connect the crypto economy,